All right. I'm here. Sorry again for the slight delay. Also, sorry if I forgot to start some of the stream stuff. I'm not sure how it appears when people are waiting in the waiting room. I had it ready to go, but I didn't have the data flowing or whatever. Anyway, this is part two of RiverLINE opening day photos from March 14th, 2004. Picking up at Burlington and continuing down to the Walter Rand Transportation Center. A longer distance than the first set that I did yesterday, but a fewer number of photos. So not entirely sure how that works, but this should still be pretty fun. I did go ahead and spend about half an hour actually trying to figure out the interlocking names, and actually on the southern end of it, the signs are legible, so there's a lot less guesswork going on today, and hopefully a lot less of me having to measure things and whatnot. So I'm gonna just get going here, make sure that everything is ready to go. Just one. Fortunately, I have a few things that aren't quite set up, but anyway, we got those. I got towers, and I got CSX rosters. Okay, so we should be good here. Starting at Burlington, here's one that I do know. This is CP 175, which has actually undergone a little. This is one of those things that has undergone a degree of modification. As I said before, the RiverLINE uses an overlap system. This allows the use of automatic train stops at signals. Train passes so that the train can get stopped before it reaches the fouling point of the first trailing point switch. In Burlington, those signals are way on the here. I'll pull up a thing. In Burlington, no, this is where am I? Oh, that's Trenton. In Burlington, the issue is switch to the maps. The RiverLINE crosses the approach. There's a traffic circle in advance of the Burlington-Bristol Bridge. The RiverLINE goes straight across it. And they were having issues with crossing activation and wait time. So what they did was extend the interlocking, so they have the initial signals are there, and then they put a second sort of close-in one. I'm not sure exactly what it does. If I noodled it enough, I'd probably figure out a good reason. Likely what it allows to do is if a train... Oh, I know what it does. If a train is waiting on the single track, I think what happened previously is that the train would depart the station, or the gates would be down, and the train would be sitting there waiting for the approaching one from the north. Then, I'm sure the gates would time out or whatever. This allows a train to... cross over, get the gates back up, and then wait in this virtual pocket track right there next to the old Burlington station. So Burlington has that downtown station I showed. It also has this park ride facility with parking. One of the neat things that the RiverLINE has done in its design elements that it's gone in with the and the new one's going to do the same thing. Some stations are going to be downtown without parking, and then there's usually a convenient parking accessible station not that far away. This means that people aren't going to be filling up the local streets in a downtown that doesn't have parking, while at the same point, people who need to park are going to have that opportunity. So, anyway. That's a good way to start things off here today. And here's another. So right today, there is a dwarf signal right there. In addition to its own, ATS shoe and everything. And I even have a picture of it somewhere. Yeah, here's the dwarf signal. It's got a very interesting way that they've done it with the two reds on the bottom. So this will give a green over flashing red, or a yellow over flashing red for your NORAC style signals. And see, and actually here there's I think there's a reduced there at least there appears to be a reduced overlap. I guess they're just assuming that the trains are going to be coming in at a lower rate. But as originally built, it was a standard RiverLINE interlocking. So whatever problem they had with traffic conflicts at the Burlington Bristol Bridge, they were able to make modifications. And here we have you can see the original PRR, not PRSL, on Burlington Station there. There's a Conrail station sign on it that regrettably has been removed in the last year or two. I think it was removed sometime around 2015 or 2016. Oops. And here we have the Burlington Station with the attendant Conrail style station sign. I don't know who stole that, or even if it. This is now a police substation, so it's not even a railroad thing. I'm guessing that at some point either someone stole it or the cops, the town thought it would be a nice thing to give it to the local historic society or something, which is great, but it was nice when it was there. You don't see a lot of unmotivated, what I will call an unmotivated station sign. You don't see a lot of them anywhere, especially on Conrail. An unmotivated station sign is one that's not part of an interlocking. I mean, it's motivated by there being a station, but that's just my term for it. Today we have a slightly reduced schedule, but not in any meaningful way. So here I have, this is south of town. At one of the moving south out of Burlington, you're going to definitely see the industrial nature of the line and why they wanted to do with the time separation thing. Now, I'll go into the time separation stuff later. Not any of the mechanics, but just some additional thoughts that I didn't bring up yesterday, because I don't have a full whatever going on. I mean, I don't have a full understanding of how they're doing things these days, but I think I have a partial understanding. Okay, so this is, I already figured it out, it's at milepost 16.5, and it's some sort of transloading facility. I was actually looking, this is something else I was looking up. No, I don't need that. Wait, oh yeah. By the way, if you have any questions, you can always throw them in chat. That is this, which now seems to be some sort of metal fabrication jobber. Let's see what Google says. It is. Oh, it is a transloading facility. So I was right the first time. Wow. For those of you who don't know, transloading facilities are generic rail, like they're like a team track. They had what looked like to be chemical derricks sort of right there, but that does not seem to be in service anymore. So, I mean, that's a thing. They've got cars and stuff moving in there, so that's neat. Sorry. Here we are at one of the intermediates. This is the 163.25 intermediate at the end of the transloading. Now, again, this is pure. This is not a part of the line that they can do. The isolation that they've started doing. It's like the Conrail needs access to the line to be able to switch these industries. So they can't do any of the they can't do any magic with during the day we have a freight island. This is outside the freight bubble. So they have to 163, there we go. So these are the industries that have to be served at night. One neat thing also about the RiverLINE, the signals are not approach lit. From a train, this doesn't matter, but if you're just out there fanning it, that's you don't have to wait. Unlike a lot of the other NJT stuff, these are lit all the time, so you can go and catch progressions and all the other stuff that you'd like to do. This interlocking, I was lucky enough that south of Burlington, for some strange reason, you can actually read what the signs are on the relay huts, and they're also, as you'll see, immediately next to roads. So it's not street running, but between south of Burlington, the majority of the line runs in this sort of with public streets on either side. This is something that you see quite frequently in South Jersey. So this is CP 150. And note the medium approach medium capability there. There's a lot of single track, double track shenanigans, but again, between here and Del Air. And here we have CP 150. And yeah, you can start seeing how it's laying out, where you have this giant sort of this giant sort of right of way going through all these towns. And this was never, unlike the history of South Jersey railroading has left a lot of right of ways that were big up through the 1930s, and then they let there's a lot of infrastructure that's just vacant now. But the Bordentown line was never anything super special. You'd see the Nellie Bly or a couple of through trains to get to the shore. But it was by and large a single track. It looks like there was more there than there was, and there really wasn't, which is a somewhat different, atypical for South Jersey. This one I don't think I got a good read on, but I estimated as CP 140. Don't know if that's a building there, if that has something to do with the railroad. Oh wow! If it did, it's gone. Yep. Let's see if there was ever there. There's some sort of factory there that looks pretty neat, but yeah, whatever they sort of had, whatever building was there must have gotten demolished. Let's see if I can go back in time. Yep, there we go. Wow. Yeah, it looks sort of rickety. And they got the demolition signs up on it already. Going back to whatever this is, this was it's nothing now. It's an urbex. It's probably an urbex zone, although it looks like they got some truck trailers stored. So I don't know what that thing was, but it looks pretty neat. Whatever was there. There was a foundry, this is a giant float glass plant somewhere in here that I'll point out. You would never notice it from the road, but I mean, you'd notice the sign, but you wouldn't notice nothing like, doesn't look like a steel mill. So this is a CP, I'm calling it CP 140 for lack of a better CP. and the meat is CP 140. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this rare right-of-way is pretty wide, but I really don't know. It wasn't anything like multi-track like 3 or 4, but it might have had 2 tracks at some point, but there's a lot of single sections on it. So I don't know the history. I think I could look it up, but I don't have the book here. And number 3509, located at, is Delanco? Yeah, it's in Delanco. So those of you keeping track, this I believe is the second northbound light rail train that my little run has passed. The first one was so you can sort of figure out how the headways match up. Oops. And one of the other more rare. I was at this signal like before the line opened because again a lot of the signals are very close to road. You can just sort of roll up, and they're right there and generally accessible from public property. So these are the 127 milepost 12.7 signals. So we're well over halfway. I mean, it's about a 30-mile line, so I guess we are, by distance, well over halfway done, which sort of maps. Yeah, we've just crossed the halfway point. And here we have the one of the party piece. Is that the right term? One of the showpieces of the line is the Riverton Bridge over the Rancocas Creek. This replaced a swing span. Back in 1999, right before I graduated high school, I came out there in my I was driving. I noticed the PRR. They had it had a bridge cabin that had local control. It was technically a tower. It had a table interlocker, a couple levers would control PR position lights at either end of the bridge, and then there were fixed caution approach signals, like Y110 and Y131. Y being the PR prefix for this route. And excuse me, got to get a distance on this bridge. And yeah, I didn't realize the importance of those. It's about 0.3 miles from that last signal. So, and then of course that was all. I didn't go out to the bridge or realize that it was going to get torn down or whatever, and I just sort of forgot about it, and that was unfortunate. So this is going to be milepost like 11.9. How do I spell Rancocas? R-A-N-C-O, yeah. So. But anyway, when they put this C-O-C-A-S, when they tried to they did the typical thing where, instead of a swing bridge, they put in a fixed span that was a little higher, let the pleasure boats through. And when they put it in, it was the float-in method that's so popular these days, and it tipped over. And that was a problem. There's some pictures. If you Google it, I'm sure you can find the pictures of it being not in the greatest position. Let me just see what else we got here. Whoops. Any chat? Oh, the chat's not showing. What's going on here? Did I not enable the chat? Huh, that's weird. Yeah. The Nellie Bly was on it, but it wasn't like the Camden Atlantic or Atlantic City Railroad lines where you had, 2-track high speed service. It was always sort of a secondary route. It's covered in one of the Triumph of the PRR books, but I don't have it here with me. Oh, what the heck? Despite the grade here, I guess freight trains are able to get up and down this. It's a shame they only run at night. It's like, maybe if COVID allowed freight trains to run during the day. I know that there's a couple places where that happens, where if the line gets shut down, then freight trains can come out during the day. I'd love to see a freight going up and down over this hump. Pretty cute bridge. Sort of a bow arch. Here we have the Riverton station. Delanco's on one end of the, one side of the river, and Riverton's on the other. Yeah, so there's the. I walked out on that drawbridge as like a kid with my dad, but it was before cameras or all the, before I had a camera available for me. So, this is coming up going to be CP 118. But that's not in this picture. It's sort of in this picture. Also, this mast there, because it's blocked out by this stuff, it's one of the rare instances in North America of a repeater signal. Maybe I can show you because it's so close to traffic. Repeaters are all over transit, but they're not very common on mainline railroads. Yeah, there it is. See, there's a repeater right there, and it's labeled as a repeater too. Pretty neat. Yep. And it's got the same top head with a restricting jobber underneath, or I'm not sure that is restricting. It could be. Oh, it's approach medium for the next interlock, the back-to-back interlockings. Also, the Riverton station is in place, but I'm gonna just highlight the station here, not necessarily the interlocking. Weird, this day is, guess it's getting overcast because my photos are all blue tinted. SJL SJR CP 118 is an accurate one. I checked it on the I could see that from Street View. What do I want to do? Oh, yeah, there's one more thing I want to show you here on the Street View. Oh, is it gone now? Oh, they're all gone. Wow. So the town, when they put the stuff in, part of the EIS, they took all the old equipment, like the old signals and stuff, and they placed them on like little plinths, and so the old PLs were like located like there as sort of static fun displays, as like museum displays. But it looks like they're gone. Oh no. Yeah, I don't know what happened. Yeah, I didn't keep track of that. Oh, that's a shame. They've been gone for a while, it looks like. I don't know where else they would have gone. Like they might have moved them to a different place. They saved other stuff like the signal bridge at Hatch is in the parking lot at 36th Street. But yeah, there was a plinth there, and they put like a whole bunch of like grade crossing things and stuff, and they had to label it saying not in service because people didn't know. Blah blah. Blah, I bet they just yanked it at some point, or maybe they got moved to a historic society. So there's the station. I don't know. I'd have to go and hunt for it or ask people. I'd find it hard to believe that they would have scrapped it. I mean, if they went to the trouble to save it. Anyway, back to the job. Okay, here we have again in the double track CP 118. Oops. What? Oh. Cool. Next. So this is just north of CP 105, and we just have a typical freight customer. Let's just see if it's still all bets down. If anyone who's wagering at home can put their bets down to see if that factory, whatever it is still in service 15 years later. And it appears, yes it is. So that's a paper plant. There's some sort of paper thing. There's a Foreman Mills, and that is where there was a float glass plant, or a foundry, and you could tell from like the roof. I read it somewhere, like there's a foundry in Riverton, New Jersey, and I'm like, what, a foundry? And if you looked at the roof, it was all covered in like metal dust. So that's a shame. That went away. In fact, I can do a little, Oh, I'm on Google right now. So let's see what the Wayback Machine says. 2016? Really? That's all you're going to give me? There you go. 2013. Wow, that's been gone for quite some time. I read something about the float glass plant closing. Let me see if I can find it. One second. It is now Riverview Estates. AFG Industries, blah, blah, blah. So maybe the float glass. Oh, there it is. Wait, hold on. I think it's still there, the float glass. God damn it. Where is it? Yeah, it's sorry for this delay. I mean, I'm just sort of interested of what's up with all the industry that they went so far out of their way to try to serve with things. So, yeah, there it goes. Yeah, C-Box Inc., design fabrication of shipping containers, formerly the AFG's float glass facility. Okay, so the float glass plant is now making shipping containers. Boy, there's a story there's globalization in a nutshell. You went from making stuff to making the boxes to get the stuff over from China. And the second thing was the foundry, New Jersey. That looks like it closed. Well, foundry closure. There it is. Somerset Foundries issues closing notice. 100-year-old Glade ductile iron foundry. Oh, Somerset, Pennsylvania. Nope, it's the wrong one. Yeah, I don't know when the float glass plant closed. So anyway, so that was the foundry. This was the float. It was a pretty decent float glass facility. Again, it was stuff that's like, you watch the news like, wow, there's industry here, but nah, not anymore. Not anymore. So, but this paper product shipper is still there. So that's CP105 and an industrial company. You can just see where all the and they had to go through and make all these switches, electrically locked for the CTC and other stuff. So there was derails and all the other things. So they had to go and do a whole bunch of, that was a lot of the prep to sort of bring back the line. Like, this line was never CTC or even block signaled. It was always PRR manual block. So, the light rail upgraded this line to well better than it had ever been upgraded, to a better position than it, or higher capacity than it had ever been under the PRR. Additional signals. The 94. So again, we're breaking into the double digits here. So certain times when I'm naming stuff, just the way that when you have files, I use a lot of file systems as opposed to or any of the programs. Anything goes by file name. Especially if things, the dates get weird. I usually go and put a 0 in front of stuff if I know that you're in a line where it goes from the 0, literal 0, up into the hundreds. Otherwise, you're going to have problems on file systems if it gets sorted weird. So I'm going to have 094, 2S, clear, 1S. Prefixing with a 0 almost never causes conflicts, but there are very few cases where it does. Good for me for not bothering taking pictures of the stations. I guess I knew it was important at this point, even in 2004, because honestly, the stations they're fine. They're doing their thing, but the signaling is what may or may not change over time. And notice, like I said, there's the central reservation here with a road on either side, and I don't know. This had to have been 2-tracked at some point. It just seems so wide, but it was always this sort of boulevard of rail. I think they've also done Quiet Zone. When the RiverLINE first opened, it was non-stop tooting. They don't have a K5LA for people that if you don't like the noise, but they have it's like a single monotone honker. Not the European type of thing, but it's still this one. It's what? Okay, so this one I do have. This has another one I got a number on. This is CP87. So I think there's more interlockings than block signals on the RiverLINE. So, I don't know who was here yesterday, but definitely if you weren't, go back and watch the first one when they become available. There's a lot of, I keep saying there's a ton of great design elements on this line. They kind of definitely knew what they were doing. This is CP. No, this is still CP87. Also notice there's a lot of double track, single track. That's not necessarily for freight. It's just for, they were just trying to keep the cost low. So they scheduled out, the route for a 15-minute headway. And any point when they did the simulations of where our train's going to need to pass each other, that's where they put the double track. Still cost $1 billion, but at least they were trying to keep costs contained, which I find to be admirable. So many light rail projects these days just throw money away And you get less. It's great for jobs, but you get less transit for your buck. And then the next project, because this one put a bad, because when an expensive project puts a bad taste in people's mouths, then they won't be likely to do the next one. Wow, this is a really interesting thing. You have a single direction ABS signal. I don't know enough on this, why this is here, but it is. Signal 0821S 821S clear. If I'm not, I'd go and hunt for its opposite, but I'm not gonna bother. Finally, we get and here we have. Wow, look, an old Conrail. Let's go check that out. All right, yeah, it's gonna be cool. Let's see if that Conrail DCS station marker is still there. Here at CP70, CP87 and CP70 again are confirmed names. No, sorry, CP87 is confirmed. I could not confirm CP70. But it is effectively at milepost 7. Milepost 7 is within interlocking limits. So, there you go. So, let's see if that DCS station marker. So there's the signal, and no DCS station marker. It is gone. It was not there in 2003. Where am I? I just want to find 2008. Come on. 2008. Is it there? I don't see it. This 480p is not giving me enough resolution. Whoa, I keep jumping around. Go here. Go there. 2008. Ah! Something's not aligned right. Anyway, I think it's been gone for a while. I do not know the DCS name on it. I could probably dig it up. Let's see. Where was it? Looks like... No, I can't read it. When the line opened, there was a few, Conrail-y, few vestiges of its former secondary track status floating about. Now, I'll tell you where I think I can find this. I bet that I have a thing here. One second. I just have to. I'm sure I have the Bordentown secondary somewhere. Amboy secondary. Ashmore, Beasley's Point, Delaware, Bethlehem, Blue Line connecting, Bordentown secondary. It is. I'm gonna find it. And see BLS Trail. So that's your thing right there. Trail. Got it. By the way, I always thought that the DCS up at Trenton is as light. Would be for like the light rail, but it's not. I guess that was there before this, before the light rail was even really put into place. But there you go. Be a DCS trail. That's just an example of know where your resources are. And by the way, here we have a. This is the first time here today we're not quite cleared through, so we're going to be there's another train coming and we don't have the signal through. So he's coming in and we don't have it into the next block. So this is, I think it's CP70. Fast approach plus Conrail. I don't know how I do DCS things. Yeah, probably just put DCS ahead of it. There you go. Oh, and there's an ATS shoe there. Don't need you, don't need you, don't need you anymore. Like I said, so this ramp here, which actually doesn't look that much worse than the ramp up over the Rancocas Creek. This is an original feature of the line where the tracks go up over to clear Route 73. That was probably put in sometime in between the 30s and the 50s, or probably went in when the Tacony Palmyra Bridge would have gone in 1936-ish. Don't 100% know when that was done. Milepost 7. And there's the dude that we need to pass. And you can sort of start seeing the Betsy Ross Bridge in the background. Now, this is the point I wanted to mention where northbound trains can run. It's the Pennsauken Transportation Center. Oh, no, it's the Park Ride Station. Transportation Center is the one for the ACL. This is 3519B. So, I believe what they've done, I might have mentioned this previously. Where is this? Okay, here we go. The way they were able to expand, so there's your Route 73 bridge, going over the Pennsauken Creek. Here's your Park Ride Station. I love all the oodles of parking they built for this. I don't know how much it's used. Eventually what they did was they were able to expand the limits of the isolation area. What they do is after 9 p.m. this switch is reversed, and then freight trains can use this second track all the way down to here where they put a derail. So that's the thing. Now, this just gets back to again, I'm not in, you can have this happy medium where you have non-compliant light rail, not necessarily mixed with freight, but in a way where if we have all the PTC junk now, you might as well, or in this case, they literally use derails. By the way, this is going to be CP56. So this has been modified. Today, this is just a crossover to allow, and they extended this thing because I guess the timing was too bad. They extended it about another half mile down to another CP that was built new with part of the thing I'm talking about. Well, that doesn't really necessarily matter here. In theory, you should be able to just have trains, give them absolute block protection, absolute block separation. In a variety of ways. So that should be what you should be able to do separations like absolute block type of things with PTC and the other stuff. So in this case, a freight train is literally prevented from blowing past a stop signal into the face of a light rail because they put a derail there, and it works perfectly fine. On the Camden, the new Glassboro plan, they're going to have one track that between Glassboro and Woodbury that will be, at night for the freight, and the other one will be for light rail, and probably blocked off with whatever they find appropriate. Though as I said, this is CP56. So I think that there's ways that are just completely logical that provide the extra protection against, the types of collisions they're worried about. Now, you still always have those derailment problems, and we're going to get into how they deal with the derailments in a bit. Track 2, approach medium. Because honestly, the number one risks to anything are going to be grade crossings and derailments that aren't necessarily, and derailments. Things that get you from the side that that PTC can't prevent. So we have 1.5 doohickeys left here. I'm going to go check to see what people are up to. Hopefully the screen didn't get screwed up. Oops. Where is this? There it is. I don't know where my chat is. There's the chat. I think it was. I mean, there's not many other Roebling steel plants. I think that's where it was made, but I don't know. I don't know my history to that degree. To say 100%, but you can go and look it up on Wikipedia, and I'm pretty sure that it is the place where that was made. By the way, this is on the last sort of double section here, so this is gonna be 18 photos, plus or minus. No, it's gonna be exactly 18. And this is again this blank track there has been it's now a second main, but at night it's locked out for NS. So, like I said, RiverLINE trains, at least, I don't know how they do it. Like, I think there's enough derails that a local train can come out of Pavonia, run into this sort of this section, and then they can allow a light rail train to come behind it. So it can start its work or it could probably come any time of the day. I've never seen it. I don't know what the actual things of the waiver are, but there's enough stuff there that there's no reason that they couldn't let a local freight serve these pockets of industry and have it be effectively isolated from the light rail track. So like I said, this is now today a facing trailing point crossover. If you go to here, look it up. Yeah, there's a bunch of industry. There's your CP56 crossover right there. And I think they even put a switch into the Pennsauken industrial track. Because you can see, actually, there's quite a bit of online customers down there. Dow Chemicals, a food place, Pepsi. So, that's definitely something that they'd probably want to serve during the day if they could, if they needed to. I'm sure this has a CP number, but it's effectively hatch. There's a light rail component to hatch, and then there's a regular railroad component to hatch, and I'm just calling this hatch. But I'm going to give it the light rail's definition of hatch. Hatch, of course, was part of the Jersey Tower complex. Yeah. Jersey Tower was the tower that controlled the Delaware Bridge. There was effectively a diamond there. I'll point it out. Hold on. Let me get back to the thing here. There's your Betsy Ross Bridge. There's your Delaware Bridge. There's the old swing span vertical lift. The Delaware complex had Jersey Tower there with a USNS unit lever style, what I will call CTC machine, but it hit the local Jersey direct wire control was up there. Remote plant hatch down there. Remote plant divide right there. And there's a remote plant Minson up there. It's Sauk. Yeah, so divide has now come back thanks to the Pennsauken station, and NJT kept the name, which is kudos to NJT. You can't quite see it because development has been encroaching. But there was a you have this is the fish, this leg of the Y coming off the bridge to Pavonia. This leg going to Jordan, south. Then there was one more leg, the Nellie Bly leg. It's been slowly vanishing over the years because I remember when you could go there, you could still see the rails, and the right of way went through all these backyards, and then there was an abandoned bridge right there, and the Nellie Bly branch connected right in there. You can still see the right of way, and as of 2002, the right of way was mostly intact, but they've been building houses. So if I go to hit the street view, I bet that bridge is probably gone now. But let's see. Oh, it's gone, but not forgotten. I went through here and I remembered it when it was there. And we can check the street view to see for an earlier. Nah, it's been gone for at least as far back as 2012. But that's what Jersey's prerogative was. If I sort of go here, and there was a Y. There was a full-on Y. So yeah, there's stuff. And there's the older house, crap house. If I pull in here, what do we have? We have older house. Don't know about that. That looks, somewhere in here is where the railroad went through. Probably that house is the new house. Yeah, see, crappy concrete, new concrete, crappy concrete, because this was a railroad. So, and this was a Y, so a train could come up from Trenton and then go towards Philly. I really gotta get it moving here. Sorry, I went a little off track. So I'm gonna just label this as SJLR's hatch. Southbound, mast, medium clear. And here we have the SJLR's actual hatch. I think BTC is something for the derail. Don't know how BTC equals derail, but there you go. At the time, when I was doing some initial explorations of this area a year or two before they started service, they had some sort of weirdo little derail solenoid thing, and then they got replaced with M3s. I'm not sure why, but maybe the FRA says hey, that's non-compliant. Note that the straight route is for freight, so hatch just used to be 3 tracks would come in, they had a bunch of switches, and off they would go to Pavonia. Here, this is where the river line diverges from, you had Fish House Branch, Bordentown Secondary. This line here goes up the ramp to divide interlocking in NJT. Here we have the river line crossing off and heading to its own right of way across the derailed. This NJD can use this 24/7 whenever they want to get up there. So, just interesting. Man, it was sunny up in Trenton, but this day really turned sour in a hurry. Turned cloudy in a hurry. Here we have the Hatch Diamond, and then the rest of Hatch interlocking over there. This used to have a 3-track signal bridge for southbound movements. That is still preserved in the 36th Street Station parking lot. Here we have NS something or other 2511. I'll look that up in a second. This is the famous Cove Road. Someone asked yesterday, is it possible to see RiverLINE and freight? This is where you see RiverLINE and freight. Cove Road. There's a park. There's not mean there's a parking spot. There is a literal city park, and you can just roll up and take pictures. It is in the mornings. There's almost always something here ready to go. Typically it's 39G. There's a CSX train that goes to Selkirk every day out of Pavonia, or most days out of Pavonia, and there's an NS train that used to go to Allentown. I'm not sure if it still goes to Allentown with all their PSR, but it might. Let's go try to dig this guy out, see who this guy is. It's 2511. Not there anymore. All right, time for Googling. 2511. It is an OG SD70. That's why you don't see them anymore. They got turned into an ACC. So they're score one for rare units. Probably people in the chat are probably screaming, "Oh, it's an SD70." Ah, I knew it. Someone did. Yeah, the electrics would go up and down. Yeah, that's how the electrics got across the Delaware. It's funny. I saw a picture once that showed a train there without wire in 1966. And then later I saw something from 1972 and there was wire, and I was confused. Did the date wrong or something? What I found out is they actually removed the wire and then had to put it back up. So the wire got pulled in the 60s, and then 4 years later they went and restored it. Okay, who's next? So now we're coming up on CP, what I calculated to be 32, which is ironic because this is one where I actually have pretty good, this is at the station, so you should have pretty good access to stuff. But for some reason or another, the relay case there doesn't have the number written on it. There's the end of the 39G, or what I'm assuming is 39G. It's there on if it's there in the morning, it's probably 39G. So CP32, and I think I've seen that before. Hold on. I might have screwed this up. No, I'm good. And this would be... So we are now past... I didn't look one up. This is past the 36th Street station. This is the exit out of the maintenance yard. I didn't get any pictures of the maintenance yard. Sorry. Oh, and I'm not sure what interlocking it would be. Probably CP27 or something. I can go and measure it. I'm going to have to measure it. Wikimapy is these nice little distance measuring tools. Oh, I forgot to say something. There's a couple of points on the line where they actually have put midpoint yards. So again, as soon as that time frame is up, they can start a train from the middle of the line. There's one up in Burlington. I forgot to point it out. So that looks like it's going to be... Yes, I knew there was a CP27, so this looks like it's CP27. Or if CP27 has come up before. Here's an interesting signal. It looks like it's there for a medium approach slow. Which would be odd. Moving on. There's the meat of CP27. Oh, there's the anti-Camden protective berm. You can just quite sort of see it there. Maybe I have a better picture of it. No, I don't. The anti-Camden protective berm And if you're in the chat, I'm not looking at the chat right now, and you get what I'm. If you get my reference by saying anti-Camden protective berm, feel free to shout it out. The RiverLINE went about. They had a bunch of fill, and they piled it up in a way that as the RiverLINE went through Camden, this giant berm would block people riding the train their vision of Camden, and they got called out for putting it there, and they had to move it. But it took them a while. And you can see it behind the trees. You can see this giant like mound. It's not there anymore. It would have been. It was sort of like in there. It looks like they actually put housing where it used to be. Incidentally, this is where it actually came out where you have the future, the once and future Pemberton branch used to come into Camden this way. So you can still, the right of way is remarkably intact. And if they wanted to restore a light rail line to Morristown, they easily could. And the anti-Camden berm was located in this area here. I'm pretty sure. One of the major... So, usually people cite racism as the reason. I brought this up in other streams. Racism is the reason that Morristown doesn't want a light rail. I'm sure there's a little bit of that, but the major thing is that any light rail line in Morristown would destroy their only low-income housing, and then have to rebuild their low-income housing elsewhere. And currently I'm in a town that's going absolutely apeshit about, like, some low-income housing, like, going in a place that really isn't a big deal. And I can see why having to, like, demolish your existing low-income housing that's in a appropriately out-of-the-way place would cause some consternation. So that's the major hiccup on that one. Here we have, this is interesting. There used to be, I'll show you where it is. This is a confirmed number, CP17. And the neat thing about this is there was some industry in Camden that needed an online, south of the yard, that needed an online service. And again, they put in a diamond crossover right there across two tracks. And this I don't know which company it was serving. Where I can there's the right of way. It looks like it would go down here somewhere in this industrial zone. And it wasn't more than a year or two after they had built it all that it was out of service, and then it was gone. So the interlocking is still there. I'm not sure if it serves a purpose, but the interlocking is still there, so they can lock out Cove Road. Incidentally, this is where Cooper. There's Cooper Tower. The old Cooper Tower's right there. We'll get to that in just a second. So hold on. Let me save this off. CP17. Let me cut to the next thing. Oh, here we have some stuff. Let's see if I can see who's here. The once and future Pavonia Yard subject. There's a good book. West Jersey chapter NRHS put together a book, History of Pavonia Yard. It's very interesting. Okay. We have a Crazy 8. We have 8818 for the CSX. That's an SD40. We've got a high hood Jeep. And South Jersey still sees a lot of high hood Jeeps. Number 5223NS. Second high hood Jeep. Number 5220. And I can't read what those Conrail dudes are. So, yeah. For some reason, they were always sending a lot of high hood Southern Jeeps to South Jersey. Probably the lack of cab signaling. But you have to, you need cabs to get here. So I don't know why they were doing that. So what do we got? We got... I'm going to go with the NS first. 5223 plus 5220 plus CSX 8818. At least plus 3X Conrail at Pavonia. There we go. So before I get into Cooper, I'll just go overhead here. Get out of the Minson area. Roll through Pavonia. It's a fun place. There used to be a hump yard there. Now they just do flat switching. They put a little like booth that they can do remote controlled flat switching from. There's the engine yard. Here's the River Ave, and that little boarded up building is the old new Cooper Tower. The old Cooper Tower was located over there. It was wooden, or maybe it was right there. That got knocked down when they redid the yard for. So when Patco moved in, they had to move the yard facilities for South Jersey from Federal, the downtown Federal Street area to here, and this engine shop was built for the PRSL in around 1966. That demolished the old Cooper Tower, which was over here, because they had to put these tracks in. And then they built this new Cooper Tower, which had some sort of unit lever machine that controlled the drawbridge and a bunch of other stuff. But the old drawbridge is welded shut in there. And the remainder is within the limits of CP7, RiverLINE CP17. One other neat bit, if you're here for the trivia, the Cooper River used to be navigable up. Wow, they've actually put, so this bridge here was a swing span. You can see the stuff. It looks like they I drove across that bridge back in the day. It's nice that they didn't demolish it. They sort of keep it as a pedestrian thing. That was a swing bridge. Next bridge, Cooper swing bridge. And this was all dredged, too. Federal Street, Bascule. This thing here was this was a double bascule bridge on Admiral Wilson Boulevard. And as you can see, that there was dock facilities sort of in here. My dad told me that when he was a kid, they kept a Navy destroyer escort parked back there for some reason. But anyway, this is the Campbell Soup plant / headquarters because it's not really a plant anymore. No slash, it's just the headquarters. Kudos to Campbell Soup for not moving out of South Jersey. They've had every opportunity to do so, including just having to have your headquarters in Camden. But they've persisted and been very nice. Now I can't tell what that signal is. It's got to be 1.6 or 1.5. But there we have. Here we have the Vineland secondary start of the block Conrail style signal that got put in. I'm not sure when. So how am I going to do this? Probably Conrail. There, I'll write out the complex file name first. That's super long. Couple things. Forget about that. Conrail. This is an approach signal to CP Mill. Currently, it's signaled all the way down to Paulsboro. It used to be signaled down to Woodbury with CP Mill, Brown, and CP Woodbury. It had some position lights. Weird signaling arrangement. I was just out to Brown the other day. And the interesting thing is that trains going north from Mill hit restricted. Everything hits restricting about a mile from here. So if you're going north, you're already out of signal territory at Mill, and you're crawling up to the yard on a restricting. So trains going to Mill are on signal indication, which is odd because the other way you can do it is all you have to do is stick a sign on the back of this that says end auto block, and that way trains going through Mill can get an approach, and then they leave signal territory right here, and then they're into DCS. So I don't know why they didn't do it that way. It basically costs the cost of a sign. Here's a neat bit. This is the federal. This is the this is the nice bit of the dovetailing. going across Admiral Wilson Boulevard, and here the Federal Street Viaduct. These are always 3-track right-of-ways. There was actually a station, a PRSL station at 12th Street, right there. There's nothing left of it now. It would have been right in there. And there was and Center Tower would have also been right in this area too. Or maybe there was a different tower. I got to do towers in a second, for you guys. 12th Street, the reason they built a station there is because when they demolished Broad Street and Federal, they had nowhere for the Millville trains to go. There was still like a daily Vineland train, and when they put the Patco stuff in, instead of the line going with all these freeways and everything, the only line goes and turns north. So they had to build an extra little station right there for the Vineland trains, and and then the Pemberton ones I think also terminated there. So, I don't know what I'm going to call this, like milepost like 1.4. Good enough. Oh, I'm so close. Just want to be done. I need to get to those towers to show you guys the towers. MP1, 1.4. This is the Federal Street Bridge looking southbound. Okay. I got a few more, but I'll maybe just hit those towers now. Just go here. Go here. New Jersey. First one, I'll just show you Cooper. There's the old Cooper. You can see on the other side of the tower. Wooden. More Cooper. More Cooper. The diagram's going to be the newer thing. Oh, no, this is the original Cooper. Yes, the Swing Bridge Cooper Tower. I got to send that guy a picture of the new Cooper. Let's see if they got center. No center. Wow. Oh, there they are. Center, Camden. Yeah, there's the center tower. That's one I would have loved to have seen. I think there was like a 12th Street or something. No, not Brown. Center, Cooper. Nah, that was the only three. So I suspect that it was Center controlled everything in there. And I have a diagram of it somewhere, but I haven't seen it in a while. Alright, so those are the towers to look... Oh, let me see if the Delanco is there. Nah, no Delanco. Oh, Jersey. Jersey, Del Air. Here we go. So there's the tower. Basically a duplicate of Winslow. And here's the diagram. Sorry for this late. Yeah, you have the Jersey interlocking there, Hatch down there, Minson, and then Divide. And there's that Y track and everything. So anyway, before I forgot, just wanted to show that off. And here we are coming off the Riverline over something. Patco, I think that's the bridge over Patco. It's the new bridge over 11th Street. Ooh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to look at the numbers on those signals down there. Let's see if I can spot them from there. There we go. Do I get them? Can I see them? Oh, no, they're absolutes for some reason. Yeah, I can't tell what the interlocking is either. Well, there's some ATS. Yeah, I don't know where they hid the relay equipment for all this. You can see you get these little in-street crossovers and stuff. It's pretty cute, but I don't know where they put the interlocking logic. They hid it somewhere. Pretty clever. Oh, there it is. Or one of them. Nope, can't get there. So I guess that CIH probably controls everything all the way around. Sorry. Yeah. Oh, 1.4, 11th Street, Bridge, southbound. And cut ahead to the Walter Rand Transportation Center. Yeah, I'd love to know what the interlocking name is. So in the years, I mean, this has really grown up. Again, you can see some of the development. They put Rutgers University is expanding into this space. A lot of the stuff has been, at least over there, looks like it's been... No, that building is still there, whatever that was. Yeah, who knows. Love to be able to... Oh, there it goes. All right, let's see if I can see what the sign is on that. Oh, can I see it? No, I can't. But yeah, that's the new Rutgers building. Looks really nice. There's whatever that is. It's for lease. There's everyone who's done jury, who lives in Camden County has wound up at that building for their jury duty. At least it's very transit accessible. So I don't know. Again, I wish I knew what interlocking that was, but I just don't. I don't know if there's much way to determine it either. There we go. The RCA building is luxury apartments. There's nothing wrong. I mean, the Camden waterfront, it's way more value for money than living in Philly. That's 3503. Yeah, I don't know that crossover. It's like CP1. Oh, great, a close-up. 1 second. I can just try to calculate distance. CP17. It would be CP7. So almost done, sorry. The neat part, I said the neat part about this day was that I just popped across the river and went out to Paoli Tower. So this was a busy day for me. Pretty convenient too. 5503B. Don't know why I'm wasting all these photos on the same light rail vehicle again and again. And last one, 3517A, departing Walter Rand. Well, thank you very much for putting up with me through all of this. There's a lot to sort of, that you can get, a lot of little side tangents on these survey things. So 3517A. It'll be neat to see if the Glassboro one ever comes around. They did an excellent job with the RiverLINE. But there you go. And let's see if there are any questions. Yep. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Next time, there might be a stream this Thursday to Friday, but I'm not sure. If it will be covering Cork Tower If not, look ahead to Easter weekend 2 weeks from now. It'll either be a one-night or a two-night. I'll see what I'm doing. Anyway, I got to close up, and I will talk to you guys next time, and I'll try to get these up on the site in a little bit. So I will see you then. Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Laters.